Can you add it to the Q&A, Mirna?
Okay, I'll try again. I think it's still disabled.
So I think if they just scan the code.
So just scan the code, please.
Yeah, if you get back to the code.
So as you can see, leadership, if leadership were a movie title, some of you said to be or not to be, lead by example, Lionheart, The Godfather, oh my God, leading the purpose, be the backbone. Sorry?
Can you please get the QR code back, because we did not have the chance to.
All right, no problem. If you'd like to have it on your laptop, just put www.mentimeter.com, and this is the voting code, as you can see.
Thank you.
Great. So going back to the Mentimeter results, as you can see, Braveheart, you see a lot of titles, The Leader in Me, Empowerment of All, and I want to be the director of that film. That's great. Breathing in life, breathing out success, The Power of Us. And still we have more. Okay. You can see the screen, right? The roller coaster. I can see more and more, life model, and so on. So what's the biggest challenge, biggest gap between leadership ideals and reality in your organization? There's a second question for those who didn't know. Just submit and go to the second question. Leadership with purpose, transparency and collaboration, workload, burnout. Anyone else would like to add? I'll get back to this at a later stage. Now, honestly, I asked AI, what do you expect that the leaders will have titles for their leadership as a movie? So this is what AI gave me: The Quiet Force, The Mission Possible, and The Ripple Effect, The Bridge Builder. So there are more and more that you can give yourself as the title of a movie that as a leader leading your organization. Okay, so let's move on to how to create a vision for the future and inspire others to make it a reality. Because as we know, to turn our visions into reality, we need to have plans, we need to have our practices, actions, and leading by example, as someone has mentioned. So if you look at the visionary leader in the middle, you can see that future focused. They are strategic thinkers. They look into the future. They see what's coming in the future, innovative and bold, emotionally intelligent, resilient, intelligent and risk-taking, and other more than that. So to be a visionary leader, you need to make sure that your vision comes to life, which means that it needs to be reflected in your practices and your team's practices. So the chat is disabled, Khalid, yet?
I think they can use it now.
Okay, so
Not yet, Khalid.
what makes, not yet?
We'll fix it out and get back to you.
Okay, so there
I think it's working. If you
it's
try
working now. Okay,
message,
very good.
yeah,
Now it's working, yes.
now, yeah. Okay.
Great. Drop to the chat your thoughts. What makes leaders visionary? So someone wrote strategic thinking, being empathetic. It jumps very fast. Authentic, relation with real situations, humility, yes, effective communication, clear path, and being humble, constructive feedback, seeing the big picture, clear goals, leading by example, again, long-term objectives, approachable vision, and I still see more coming: equality, team building, believing in themselves. We see also focus on the future, prepare for the future, specific roadmap, clear mission. So everyone has thoughts about a visionary leader. And if you look at yourself and think about yourself, how do you find yourself as a visionary leader? Simply by reflecting on your practices, reflecting on your beliefs, values, and your role in your organization. I can still see that clear goals, long-term objectives, strategic planning, and so on. So if we look at this, we can see that a visionary leader, I'm so sorry, they see beyond the present and they act boldly, as someone has mentioned earlier. They center humanity, focusing on relationships, equity, and purpose. They build bridges between ideality and reality. I just want to mention one important thing that I didn't see that was mentioned. It's about acceptance. What do I mean by acceptance? You need to accept your team. Your team must need to accept you. And to do so, you need to start with bringing your team together. And bringing your team together, I think, is one of the most challenging things, if you agree with me, because especially if you are new to the organization. I can share my story. I was a school principal for international school for 5 years. At the beginning, I started my journey with them as to bring the team together. Because if you do not bring your team together, you can achieve zero, nothing. Simply, this happened by just accepting your team, and your team accepts you. At the same time, you need to understand your team, understand their needs, and you need to be a good listener. Sometimes when we start a new journey as a leader, we start talking, I want to do the change. Sometimes change is not needed. And if you start with working with the team to do little differences, and those differences will lead to the change that you want, it will be a successful journey for you. So I used to tell my team that I'm planning with you and I'm not planning for you. So simply plan with your team and not for your team. Don't go with decisions ready made for them. Engage them, involve them in their decisions to become to transfer the vision into reality. Because on your own, this doesn't happen. If you just believe in the things that you want to do, your vision, your mission, it's not only you, you have a team to work with you. And thank you. I can see still some comments. The trust, support each other, confidence, freedom to contribute to the vision, yes, and flexibility, great sentence plan. Thank you. Plan with your team and not with your team. This is something that I believed in my journey as a leader, and I continue to do this. At the same time, build bridges between ideality and reality, and this is what we're going to do today. All right. I don't know if you can take 5 contributions to put their mics on by raising hands, and it's up to you.
Yeah,
To share a moment when you saw visionary leadership in action and what made it powerful, and describe a time when your ideal clashed with the reality and what did you learn. So anyone would like to contribute? Khalid, it's okay? They can.
yeah, please, if you can
I
just
can take
raise
5
your virtual hand.
contributions. Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you, Khalid.
the raising hand was, yes. I'm not sure if this is, yeah. We'll start with Maha. Go ahead, Maha.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, thank you for this opportunity, and thank you, Ms. Mirna, for your valuable vision all the time and leadership.
Thank you, Maha.
Yes, I would like to start with when I saw visionary leadership from one of my previous leaders, and I believe in it till now. I believe that especially those who are joining a new place, actually they start with observing. And as you said, I want to start from what you said. Sometimes there is no for immediate change immediately. You need to observe, you need to see how things are going on. And I observed with one of the leaders that it took him a year to see how things are going on in that institution, to see and to reflect. And I would like to use this quote that the most effective people are the reflective ones, actually. So this is my main thing. I would like to share that, yes, small steps, observe, reflect, and then, as you said, the change will be together, not just for them. It's for everyone in the institution. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Maha. Thank you. Do you have any other contributors?
Thank you, Maha. I'm checking. Maybe they dropped some comments in the chat. Jahad says the difference between the leader and the manager. I'm not sure if he's answering the previous question. Yes, Carla, go ahead, please.
Carla, I'm a professor at the university in Cyprus. I want to talk about something that happened to me recently in university. It was related to AI, the use of AI tools, and how it began disturbing the academic environment at our university. A lot of educators, they responded with fear, resistance. They were worried about plagiarism, loss of originality, a lot of things, except for one academic leader who was the department head, she chose a different approach. So rather than treating AI as a threat, she made sure that to use AI, she proposed a transition from AI to, instead of avoiding AI, she considered it as a literacy. So everyone was, she did a lot of workshops, she helped us a lot, and she pushed us to use AI in our classes instead of avoiding it. So I felt what she did was amazing. And instead of going with the flow, she chose to face it and give us another alternative. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. I want just to comment on what Carla mentioned. Thank you so much for that, for mentioning the AI in our roles here. Once in the panel discussion, one of the leaders who were the speakers, I mean, one of the teachers asked, "Do you think that AI will replace us as teachers?" So what was the answer at that day? It was a panel discussion, by the way. And what he said that if you do not work up to the standards, if you do not work to improve yourself, if you do not become a researcher, become a thinker, become all these attributes that we seek to gain or acquire, definitely AI will replace you. But as long as you are improving, developing in your career, and because you will never be replaced by AI. So this was the and as leaders as well, AI, we should utilize it in our visionary journey to bring it to life. Thank you so much, Carla. And we still have another participant.
Well, I'm looking if feel free, please, to raise your virtual hand if you would like to add one more story. And Mira, I can tell you that we have around 200 participants
Raising
now.
hands.
They're
So
not
we can take
they're
only.
not raising hand.
Sorry,
Yeah,
maybe they can drop it in the
Malik's
chat, but yes, you can
Yeah.
choose. Yeah, you can choose
Yeah,
select.
maybe Mike wrote something on the chat. Would you like me to read it to you?
I can see it, and maybe everyone can
Oh,
see it.
perfect.
Malik is studies in, again, let me see, master's done in Sofia University, and he's mentioning the best professor ever. I can't. I don't. I'm afraid not to pronounce the name correctly. Katrina. She was about 71 years and old, of course. When we saw her for the first time, we looked at each other, and the question was, will she be our leader here? This old woman. And this is the answer to another question, maybe to the second question.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone would like to share? We still have more 2 minutes for contribution before we move on. Actually, I cannot see hands except you. We have Rania Barham. I can see
Yeah,
Rania.
Rania. Yeah, Rania
Hello,
Ibrahim, go ahead, please.
hello, good morning. This is me,
Good
Rania
morning.
Brahim from Lebanon.
Welcome, Rania.
Brahim, yes. Okay. Yeah.
Brahim, yeah. I'm going to talk about my experience with a leader that I met 13 years ago at the beginning of my experience in teaching. You know, at the beginning of teaching, you have no experience, you have just theories. And honestly, I was struggling to let the experience meet the theories. It was really hard because I felt like there is a clash between what we learned and what we have to apply. And you know, teaching in the first year is hectic and exhausting. What he did was like pushing, believing, like giving faith to me. You can't believe how faithful he was in what I'm doing. I believe that he played the role of a good leader by like not only giving me steps to follow, but pushing me through the belief he has in me. So I think that the good leader is mainly the one who can push, the one who can like guide you in hard times, and the one who can believe in you even when you don't have that belief. Thank you.
Thank you, Rania. Yes, and I'm sure that everyone understands that Rania was talking about the one who pushed you in the positive way, which means who encourage you, who leads the way leads you to the way, but don't give you the answers, lead you to the way that you find your own answers, and so on. Thank you so much. We have one more, and we need to proceed, Khaled. If
Yeah, I think Salam is raising her hand. Sorry, Maha,
Okay.
get back to you. Maha, if you have more time, but we'll take Salam
Okay,
because she
it's
raised
okay.
her. Yeah, yes, Salam.
Hi, this is Salam. Thank you, Ms. Mir. And you're speaking about the AI, just inspired me to tell you something about that. I take a diploma in how to use ICT in teaching methodologies years ago. And Dr. Ghassan Qait, He told us something that if you do not need to use technology in your class, do not use it. Do not force yourself to use it. And the same thing, I just write one sentence. I always say it for other people around me that they are asking the same question: do AI gonna replace us as a teachers? And I'm telling them it's the same as ICT. You remember when ICT came and everybody was afraid that this method will take teaching or our career. And so I told them those who know how to use AI will replace those who don't. That's it. If a
Exactly.
new methods is coming, just learn it. We can look at companies like Nokia and other companies that when the new technology came, they refused to adjust and change and taking the new methods. So they gone. But if you are as a teacher, and we are teaching students that like in 10 years or 15 years, they will go up to the word. If we are not up to date, they will be too late when they are graduate. So we have as a teacher to go in the latest technology, the latest ideas, and to adopt them into our classrooms.
Thank you, Salah. Thank you so much. You reminded me about something. I'm here in The Hague, by the way, attending the IB Global Conference, and one of the speakers yesterday mentioned that the only thing that AI don't have and we have, and that's why we will not be replaced, is the heart and the humanity. So make sure to use your heart all through your journeys, ladies and gentlemen. So I think we need to move on. I can see Noor Awadallah also raising her hand, but I don't know. For 1 minute, Noor, or less than 1 minute, 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm sorry for raising my hand.
No, go
I
ahead,
am
please.
seriously, I was trying to raise it from the beginning. Okay. I used to work as a lecturer, part-time lecturer at Israel University, and to be honest, it was huge challenging because I was already graduated a master degree in my university, and I was the valedictorian and was 100% sure that I'm going to be the best doctor ever. But to be honest, when you are hit with the reality, it's really different. You face something in you, you facing something that you really don't know anything about. I didn't know anything. And I was afraid to ask my teachers because they thought that I'm good enough to start like teaching. And at that time, I met with the head department, Dr. I think Hilmi. At that time, his name was Muhammad Hilmi. And he was like, Noor, don't pretend to be the best. Ask if you want to know anything. Ask if you need help. Because if you didn't ask, you won't learn. You will be always at the bottom. If you want to get to the top, you need to ask. I think the great leader is the one who encourages you to search more, to find something in you, to improve yourself. Not the
Definitely.
one that expect you have all the information and you have all the knowledge.
That's
So
great. Great.
the
Thank you,
one.
Noor, for your contribution. And let me tell you that we have 220 participants in this session. So please do not be upset if we cannot answer your questions, or not answer, if you cannot allow the contribution, because we have 221 and we are limited in time. Thank you so much for that. Noor reminded me about something I always say whenever I have a team, and even when I'm leading a workshop or whenever I'm meeting with my team, that we learn together. I don't know everything. So I don't know it all is one of the most important things that you should believe. No one know it all. Other than that, if someone know it all, we should stay at home and enjoy our lives. Don't continue learning. So to continue learning, you need to be connect with people and have the heart, as I mentioned, the mind and the brain to lead. All right, thank you all for that. And I always believe that leadership, or being in a place where you are leading someone, it's not a position, because many people, I'm in a position, I am in the authority of the term authority position. For me, is not something that I use and I don't believe in. I believe in roles and in responsibility. At the same time, it's a journey, it's a learning journey. And your journey will be shaped by values, your values aligned with the values of your organization, aligned with the vision, and you need to have the courage to act upon that, the courage to proceed and act, as I mentioned. We have 10 minutes. All to explore and share your personal leadership. But before you scan it, let me show you what you need to do. On this Padlet, you have 3 questions to answer. You just click down and add any comment that you want and just post it. What 3 words best describe your ideal leadership style? Why do they matter to you? The first question. The second one, what kind of school culture do you dream of creating? We always dream of creating school cultures and creating our own environment in the school. What does it look like, feel, and sound like? Let me just explain this one. What does it look, feel, and sound like? You might say, how do I feel it? How does it sound? This is called appreciative inquiry. And this means that you appreciate, you feel, you look at it, you imagine how do you look at your culture and how does it sound. And then the last question is aspirations. What legacy do you hope to leave behind as a leader? When you leave your organization, not necessary to be a school, any organization, what do you want to leave behind you? What do you hope to leave behind you? And what impact do you want to be remembered for? So we have 10 minutes and including the discussion. So let's take 5 minutes to answer the questions. And you don't have to write your name unless you want to show your name on the post. So please scan the code. And again, I will put this on the chat if you want to have it on your computer. So
It's already there. Thanks, Salam. Salam added the Padlet on the
okay.
chat, but you can
Okay,
add.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Salam.
You're welcome.
By the way, just let me say something that all the links will stay with you. And the Mentimeter, I will convert it to PDF. I will add it to a drive that I will share when we come to the Google Drive. I will share it with you and you can always go back to it. Okay, I can see that you started answering the first question, which is great. 3 words. Ladies and gentlemen, what 3 words best describe you? That's good. Friendship, unbiased, equality, and flexibility. I can see inclusive, reflective, observant. Yes. Again, lead by example, listener, and data driven, ethical, fair, role model. You can see that there are some words are in common, such as flexible, lead by example, fair, transformative, distributor, strength-based leadership approach, ambitious. Do you want me to stop talking? I can stop talking and you can scroll it down. I can see someone writing, on the chat, believer, yes, believer. If you're not a believer, this is going to be a hard mission for you. You should be a believer. Amazing. Yes, I will translate the one in Arabic because I think we have Arabic speakers in the session. So it's a safe, supportive school that is free of maybe stress or pressure for both teacher and student, which means a safe, healthy, and supportive environment. So everyone can see what's written. If yes, thumbs up. So I'm not going to read everything. It's a lot. We have 220. Now we have 230 participants. So yes, I can see thumbs jumping on the screen. Thank you so much. And the last question, let me just comment on the last question. This is one type of reflection because as if you are planning backward. What do I mean by backward design or backward planning? You have your aim, you have your objectives, and you have your mission and vision. You see it very clearly, and this is what you want to leave behind. So you start planning backward to make sure that you achieved your vision, mission, and that you left the legacy that you want. At the same time, that you left the impact that you really wanted to be shown or as a fingerprint. I can see in the chat, believer, disciplined, inspiring, problem solver. Sorry, I'll share the code again. Someone asked for the code. Please, this is the code. And the chat, and it's in the chat as well, the link to use your laptops if you wish. All right, so I saw someone writing something. I'm going to share with you my 3 words, not 3 words actually. I want to share with you my leadership style. I always believe that leading is leading with love and passion. And when I mentioned leading with love and passion, Once I had a workshop, a whole day workshop entitled Leading with Love and Passion. And I also did it in more than one school. And I was a keynote speaker in Baku, in Azerbaijan, when the first time I talked about leading with love and passion. And people think that I should put my team around me and keep loving them. It's not the love that you know. It's actually the way you respect them, the way you listen to them, the way you understand them, you feel them, and at the same time, you allow them the opportunities to grow. It's the growth mindset that makes it, they feel your love. And thank you for your contribution. Let's move on and see how to turn your vision. Thank you all for the participation. Thank you so much. Again, I apologize for not being able to comment on all your contributions because we have many participants, and thank you. So let's see the strategies for turning vision into strategy. So some strategies for turning vision into strategy, which means action more than strategy. It's my mistake. I will change it. It's strategy and not it's action, by the way. So simply, you all know that it's action. First of all, if you know your vision, you cannot just keep having this big umbrella about your vision. You need to break it down into areas where you can take action, where you can put steps, and step 1, step 2, phase 1, phase 2. So you break it down into actionable areas. And then you need to know your priorities. But you don't limit it to the priorities, but you focus on your priorities until they are achieved, and then you move on to the others. Define key terms in your vision statement, because we have our visions. Once I visited a school and I asked the teachers in that school, without of course mentioning names, it's not in Jordan, it's outside Jordan, and I asked them, what's the vision of your school? So what do you think they did? They opened very fast their website to read the vision for me. Actually, it's not recalling a vision. It's embedded, it's reflected in your practices. It doesn't mean that you need to recall the vision statement or the mission statement of your school. You need to be part of this vision, part of the implementation, part of the planning as well. As I mentioned, you need your team to plan with you and you not plan for them. And then you create scenarios for the future with your team. You build the strategy and build strategic agility, which means that you need to be flexible to change. There are some data that shows you that this doesn't work. Evaluate this data, discuss it with your team, change the strategy, build a new one or not a new one, shift it to a different direction. It's okay if we change. It's okay if we build another strategy inside our strategy, because sometimes the evidence, the indicators show that this will not work. And believe me, what works in a school does not work in all. What works in an organization, I don't want to emphasize on schools only, any organization, what works in an organization might not work in another, because the culture is different, the environment is different, the beliefs, the values, and the mission and vision is different. Align strategy with midterm goals. You have to stop, reflect, and evaluate, and then start talking about what's coming next. So midterm goals, this means in the midway, you stop, you have some goals achieved, some others are not, reflect on it. Reflection is the most important tool for improvement. Don't reflect on your own, reflect with your team. Embed accountability and feedback loops. Some leaders and some educators and many of the people think that accountability is the same as responsibility. I'm sorry about this. Actually, accountability is a little bit, not a little bit, it's different than responsibility. I can give any of my team the responsibility to do something, but when they have the ownership of this assignment, ownership, this means they feel that they own this task, they own this assignment, they own what they're doing, and they are the ones who want to achieve the goals of this task or this delegation. It's called accountability. So ownership and agency are important in accountability. Feedback is very essential. Okay, before we move on, I want you to think in maybe take 5 minutes, not more, to give us examples from your organizations. And Khalid, may I ask you to help me in this
Please.
by raising hands, and
Yes,
maybe
please.
we can take 5 contributors different than the ones in the previous question. Tell me about this map. How do you do it in your organization? Or can you just reflect on it in 30 seconds, each participant, please? Okay, by raising hands. Anyone who would like to reflect on this map?
Let's wait like for 20 seconds and then we'll take the answers.
Okay, 5 contributions with 30 seconds, please. And if you have anything to contribute, you don't want to talk about it, just drop it in the chat, please.
Would you please just repeat the question someone is asking?
Okay, the question is, I'm asking you to reflect on what's on the screen. Reflect. Would you like to talk about it? How does it look like in your school or organization, institution, the place that you have a leadership role in? How does it look like? You don't believe in something, you believe in one of these, you want to comment, it's just a reflection. So as we mentioned, reflection is the best learning and improvement tool. Anyone? I can't see hands here. Maybe you can see the hands. Sorry?
If you'd like to participate, just raise your virtual hand. You can find the virtual hand next to the word react, and it's written there, raise hand.
Raise hand, yes.
Yeah.
I can see also from the participant list if someone is raising hands here. Up till now, no one, so we can move on. Or you can just drop it on the chat. I can't see hands here. All right, let's move on. Thank you.
Yes, they're adding Mirna, if you'd like. They're
on the
adding
chat, yes, please
comments
go
in the
ahead,
chat.
Khalid. Go ahead, Khalid.
Yeah, so Raed is saying that we do the same in our school since we're expecting cognitive visits soon. Matt says, I agree on limiting the objectives, focusing on what's more important. Anwar says, as an administrative assistant, the most important thing is to break down. Yes, Abir is saying that she can't see the raise hand option. It's there under
It's no
React,
problem.
but you can open your mic, Abir, if you'd like to contribute, to participate, Abir. Go ahead, please. Unmute the mic and you can have like 30 seconds. Go ahead, Abir.
Khalid, I just want
Hi,
to answer
everyone.
someone, sorry, but answer someone asking for translation. This session is in English.
In English. Yeah.
In English.
We have
Thank you. I'm so sorry.
other sessions in Arabic. Yeah.
In Arabic. Thank you so much.
No
I'm
worries.
sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Just,
Okay.
yes, Abir, go ahead, please.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Okay. Concerning the reflection of the strategies, I think if we define clear objectives for the team and, do the SWOT analysis, this would give us a good points for the weaknesses and strength of their team. So in order to do the evaluation and then work on the weaknesses and, do the professional development according to that. So, and engaging, of course, all the stakeholders. So I think these can turn the vision into a real conducting through the way of working through the year.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. Thank you, Abir. This is great. Thank you for the contribution. And also, other than
Yeah,
that,
thank you.
as Abir mentioned something very important, which is the stakeholders, all the community, which includes the stakeholders. At the same time, creating focus groups, small groups, to not to evaluate as much as to discuss the outcomes, the result of this strategic plan, the challenges, the obstacles. And you mentioned something very important, which is the SWOT analysis. At the same time, you can do the 360 evaluation that will involve all the stakeholders in the institution or in the organization. Thank you for the contribution.
We have Samah, Mirna, if you'd
Samah,
like.
go ahead, Samah.
And
Nice
Samah,
to
thank
see
you
you.
for being very helpful. He helped us. He added the screenshots for the
Salam added. Now this is Samah.
Salam. And this is Samah. Okay.
You're welcome.
Good to see
Yeah,
you
go
here,
ahead.
Samah. Okay, go ahead, Samah. Samah. I think you're on mute, Samah. I can't. Can you hear? Anyone can hear Samah? Samah, I'm sorry, we cannot hear you.
She said that her mic is not working.
So sorry, maybe we can, at the end, if we have time, you can add your contribution. Thank you, Samah, again. And thank you, everyone. Let's move on. Guys, this is a check for reality check from vision to action. And it's a poll, and it's also, I'm going to add, some are going to add, I will add it, sorry, copy the link, I will add it to the chat. And those who want to just use their laptops, it's on the chat. And this is what you're going to find here. Not this one, sorry. Let me open it again. This is what you're going to find, and we'll see the results here. There are 5 questions, and it's as a check, reality check. And let's see the voting. Do you want the code again?
Yes, please.
Here's the code, and the link is on the chat.
Hello?
Yes, can you see the votes? Okay, so here we have the first question. What is the primary challenge leaders face when transitioning from idealistic vision to practical implementation? 71.7% mentioned that the gap between theoretical concepts and real-world constraints. 4.2% mentioned insufficient team members, and it's less now. And I have a lack of financial resources, 1.9%, 20.8% poor communication skills. And there's an addition now, poor interaction. This could be added to poor communication skills. Actually, the poll on Padlet doesn't give me more than 4 choices. That's why we could have more. And the second question, what is a key characteristic of successful leaders who bridge the gap between vision and reality? 7.7% answered they focus solely on long-term goals, and that's also another factor. They adapt their strategies based on feedback and circumstances. 79.3. They never compromise on their original vision. 8.5. And they work independently without team input. 5%. Okay. We have also the third question. When implementing a new initiative, what should be the leader's first priority? Hiring external consultants is 1.9%. 87.0% establishing clear, measurable objectives. I would select this. Yes, thank you. Announcing the change to all stakeholders immediately. And if we go to the fourth question, we can see that personal preferences, what factor is most important when prioritizing initiatives during implementation? The highest rating was for impact on organizational goals and available resources, which is 77.2%. 5.3, a personal reference of the leader. 12.3, ease of implementation regardless of impact. And 5.3% recommendations from external advisors only. I can see that having external advisors out of the organization has the lowest percentage in most of the questions. Let's see the last one. Implementing all changes simultaneously, creating systems and processes that support continuous improvement, 91.4%. And we have less rating for the others. I have something in Arabic, and great or high importance or great importance to introduce and distribute the tasks. Thank you. Yes. All right. I just want to comment on, you want me to go back to this? So you still can contribute to that. It's very, very important. I mentioned hiring external consultants from outside. I mentioned it twice. I can see that we sometimes believe in it. I'm not saying that there's nothing right, nothing wrong. It depends on the organization. So I have also other comments in the chat. I'll come back to that. The most important thing, in my opinion, is that you need to build capacity from inside your organization. This means that you need to believe that you can have those, let's say, personnel or those colleagues that could lead in the future. So you build capacity. You, of course, train, coach, mentor, whatever you want to do in your organization. Someone has mentioned, Ahmed mentioned, our leadership team is breaking down our vision into action objectives. Thank you so much. Mission, the admin staff, and Thamir mentioning the admin staff must be more flexible by advisors, not focused on mistakes. That's great only, and try to make staff, sorry, I can't read it. Try to make staff that there is a spy behind to can give their efforts. I agree with that. Someone mentioned that. And this is something that relates to how you build the team, respect, accept, as I mentioned earlier, and to be sure that everyone has a voice. This means their voice should be heard and respected. Someone is asking you, Khalid,
Yes, yeah.
how
I
I
mean,
can get my certificate, and this is
yeah.
later. Okay,
We'll talk about it. By the way, I've got lots of questions. Sorry, Mirna.
okay,
And
yes.
now I can see that the number of participants is increasing. Now we've got 265. Yeah,
265. Okay.
and they're talking about it on social media. But regarding the certificates, you receive a survey feedback at the end of the forum. You know that it's a 2-day forum. So tomorrow or on Monday, you will receive the feedback survey. Once you fill it in, and then you will receive your certificate via email. Once you're here in the session, you're here in the session because you already registered in our forum. So no need to, someone asked about writing the full name here in the chat. No need to do this. Again, once you receive the survey feedback, maybe tomorrow late or on Monday, once you fill it in, and you will, during the week, you will receive your certificate, inshallah. Sorry,
Thank
Mirna.
you.
Go ahead,
Thank you
please.
so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much for that. Those who joined later or did not come at the beginning, just to emphasize that this is a session where we are sharing our experiences, our thoughts, and learning together, and at the same time reflecting on our practices. So thank you for contributing to the Padlet. And now we need to move into the gap between the theory and the practical leadership, because the gap is there in many of our organizations, because you can see that some leaders try to define their type of leadership, but their practices does not reflect what they're saying or what they describe themselves. For example, I'm a transformative leader. I am whatever type of leader. We don't need those titles, guys, ladies and gentlemen. We don't need to have a title to describe ourselves. Just be your authentic self as a leader. And at the same time, lead with your mind, with your heart, with your brain, and the practices reflect that. So, leadership model awareness. Of course, many leaders understand theoretical leadership models and principles that guide effective leadership. As you can see, understand the theoretical. So we need to make sure that our understanding is reflected in our practices. There are some organizational constraints, and those constraints prevent leaders from fully applying leadership ideals and transferring them into practice to become dynamic, living in their practices. And dynamic challenges, real world leadership involves ambiguity and changing conditions that complicate decision making and execution. So sometimes we have challenges that might arise suddenly or that are already there. And sometimes we ignore those challenges, but it will be a problem in the implementation of our action plans and strategies. So we need sometimes to be more flexible, as you all mentioned, to overcome those challenges and take decisions with our teams and to involve and engage the school community, the organization community. We call it a community because it includes all the stakeholders. Okay, I need to read some of the comments here. Some mentioned that Anwar, we mentioned that external consultants will not always understand the challenges inside. I totally agree with you. And at the same time, they might not understand the culture and the nature of and the values. Of course, the values are there. I just need to mention something while when Anwar mentioned this. Values, mission, vision, they are on the website of those organizations. But you need to make sure that those are in practice, that those are living in the school, wherever you move. I keep on saying schools, in the organizations or institutions, that it is reflected in the practices of all the team. And yes, not always external consultants can understand the challenges or understand the culture of this organization. Thank you so much for this contribution, and let's move on to the key challenges. It's very essential to understand the challenge to overcome this challenge. I'm reading a book, by the way, which is called Blind Spotting. I don't know if you read this book. It's called Blind Spotting, and it's one of the amazing books that I read. And you might think that the blind spot is something that we have only in the mirrors of our cars, that we sometimes don't see the car coming from one of the sides. But this book talks about the leadership and why leaders do not reach their potentials, because there's a blind spot there. Sometimes we are in denial. We deny the challenge. We deny this blind spot. We deny having a problem and say that, no, 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 everything's okay. Everything is fine. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. This doesn't work. We need to identify those challenges. We need to identify those blind spots. So in the chat, can you please just drop any of the challenges that visionary leaders face? So you have to think and act as a leader, and even more feel like a leader. Anyone is dropping a challenge here? Let me go down. They're still asking for certificates.
Yeah, we'll get back to this at the end of the session, inshallah.
Yeah, I just need,
We'll get back to this.
yes, to move on with the session. So I'll start, I think, by to set achievable goals besides turning ideas into actions. And greatest challenge, thank you, Khawla, is having team players who play the same symphony. Yes, definitely. And this is what I said in the beginning. At the beginning, if you don't bring your team together, if you don't plan with your team, if you don't accept your team and your team accepts you, if you do not hear their voices, if there's no agency, this will not happen. This is the biggest challenge. Thank you, Khawla. And poor communication, yes. Resistance to change, yes. And the name of the book, Iman, is called Blind Spotting. Blind Spotting. I will write it down in the chat. Just give me a second, all right? And staff experience, especially new ones, definitely. And those, the new ones, you should take in their hands and either mentor them, coach, or train them to become the experienced one. And as I mentioned once, that previously, when I started working in the 80s, so you might think, how old is she? I'm 63, by the way. When I started working in the 80s, schools, or I have to talk about schools because this is where I started, they used to hide what they're doing. They used to compete with each other. They used to think that we are the best and we don't want anyone else to know what's inside. Now, all organizations are opened to support each other, to make sure that the staff gets the good training. So how is it about internally in your organization? The new staff should not be a challenge, as long as there are experienced ones in the organization to take in their hands, train them, help them. Again, we find resistance to change. Time could be a constraint. Instant decisions from the top leaders. Yes, and this happens that sometimes this is a decision. You need to take it or leave it. This means you need to start working on it. And sometimes decisions come running one after the other, that you start thinking, how can I do this and that at the same time? So this is when we say that we need to slow down, step at a time, and think about all our decisions. It has to be data driven. There has to be evidence for taking these decisions, which is the data that we collect. And at the end, we need to find indicators for the success of our decisions. If we don't find key performance indicators, it means that we need to think again and decide differently. Financial support, organized, again, poor communication skills, missing the teacher need analysis. And again, most of you said resistant to change, the team spirit, leader must think about threats. And we have more, 40, 35, 40 comments, and they're still coming. Yes, the book is Blind Spotting. Asma, I will write the author name now when I finish. Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And let's move on to the key challenges that these are not the only ones, but as a summary of what I thought that you might share with me, with all of us, as we have now 280 participants. So definitely your challenges would be in one of these: unrealistic expectations, and resistant to change. It's one that was really in common. Many of you have talked about resistance to change, and we've seen also communication breakdown, isolation, which means that decisions are taken only from the decision makers and not the team. All right. Okay. I'm sure that I love Padlets, by the way. I don't know if you love them at this like me, but it helps that everybody can express themselves in writing rather than having many people talking together. So the Padlet is about bridging the gap, ideals versus reality. Let me show you. I want to close this one and keep this one open. And also there are 3 questions to answer. The first one is, what are the qualities or visions of an ideal leader? You can post words, quotes, or short sentences. The second one, what challenges or barriers do leaders face in achieving those ideals? Please provide honest and experience-based responses. And this is very important. If you don't want to write your name again, anonymous is fine. And the actions, the mindset. What actions or mindsets can help close the gap between ideality and reality? What I want to say, I'll go back to this. What I want to say that maybe after this session, we need to just think, reflect. Anyone would think that you will change your strategy? Don't mean the strategy of your organization, but I mean the strategy with your team. Would you involve your team more in your, and this is a question for you, you don't have to answer it. Would you involve your teams more with you? Would you have it a well organized and planned actions and practices based on your vision, mission, and values? So think about it, rethink. If you're taking decisions on your own, rethink your strategy, rethink your leadership, and try to have a voice, try to give your team a voice. All right. So I can see some answer jumping in: delegating, supporting, reflective, and be in one distance with all at the same time with no bias. Thank you. Realism, what challenges or barriers? Please provide honesty. Ego, love, or hate? Thank you. Yes, I only can see 3 participations. Do you want the code? Sorry, the QR code again. Here it is, if you can't find it. All right. 1 more minute, 1 minute. Okay, so let me see, is there any more answers? Yes, a lot now has jumped in. All right, so we can see inspires by his best practices, positivity, fairness, being real, reliable, transformational, realistic, knowledgeable, growth. Sir, we can charge it for you. All right. So realities, we have again, not ego, love, or hate, not, and I love this. I want to comment on ego, love, or hate. Have you ever been exposed to a relationship where the emotions, relationship, what I mean relationship at work, where emotions controlled the leaders? I hate this. I love that. This person is my favorite. Favoritism as well is one of the challenges. I just need to mention that. And here is be on land, not in space, with no gravity, and so on. So yes, this will stay with you forever, the Padlet. I just want to show you the book, and then I'll proceed to the last section, and then questions and answers. I know that we have, I think, 14 minutes, yes?
Yeah, we've got 15 minutes maybe. Yeah,
Okay,
15
Audible
minutes.
is not opening. I'm trying to open Audible, my account. Okay, so the book is, I can't see it now, no
Blind
problem.
spotting.
Blind Spotting, yes, it's Blind Spotting. Anyway, it's Blind Spotting, and the author is called Martin Dubin. I write it on the chat. Martin Dubin. I write on the chat. Here it is. Martin Dubin. Okay, Dubin, sorry. It's a nice book. It's not only for educators, it's for leaders everywhere. Thank you for contributing in these 3 questions. And now I will move on to something very important, which is I need to talk for only 2 minutes, and then I'll continue to the session questions and answers. I strongly believe that Where did it go? All right, because I saved it. So let me move here. I strongly believe that you need to build a collaborative culture. And as you can see from here, that collaborative culture fosters continuous learning, shared vision. You embrace technology, we cannot forget this. Encourage open communication, build trust, promote cross-functional collaboration, provide resources and support. This is the resource for that. And build capacity. What do you mean by build capacity? I mentioned this earlier at the beginning of the session, that you need to understand and know your team. You need to work on creating new leaders in your team, because the leaders who are leading now, definitely there will come a time that they will stop. So you need to have always new blood, new leaders in your organization, and that's when building capacity comes. You need to build the capacity within your team. And in your current role as a leader, it's essential to give opportunities, to open doors, and to give them voice at the same time. So to build effective team, you need to have clear goals and roles, and this is where accountability comes. When the roles are clear, accountability is there. Open communication, they need to feel safe, and you need to make sure that you are having the diverse skills and talents in the right place. You don't assign tasks or delegate tasks to your team and they are not in the right place, because they don't have the skill, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the creativity to do this. So make sure that you know your team to be able to assign those diverse tasks. Trust and fellowship doesn't mean that it's unlimited. It has to have professional limits, but it should be built on trust. And this is where ideality is transferred to practicality or reality, and you share the vision with them. All the time, you need to ask yourself, you can take screenshot of this, I don't mind. Those are not questions that you need to answer right now. Those are questions that you need to have a deep reflection in the future. Where do your ideals come from? Is it personal experience? Is it from mentors or cultural expectations? Which of the ideals do you feel most aligned with you right now? Think about it, not necessary to answer it now. Leadership realities. How do the challenges show up in your daily leadership practice? Are the barriers internal, which is mindset, or external, the system, the people around you? Bridging strategies. What strategies feels most actionable for you this week? So when I say this week, this means sometimes your actions in this week might differ from your actions in another week based on the needs, based on the data that you have and the evidence. And then share a story, not necessary now. Maybe you can share a story, a success story in a meeting, informal or formal meeting. Be the leader who shares their stories, even the failures. I usually say, as you celebrate success, you need to celebrate failure. You know why? Because failure provides you an opportunity for learning. So celebrate both. I don't mean that, hey, I failed. No, but use the failure into an opportunity. The last thing I want to say before we move to questions and answers is that since our theme is cultivating citizenship and values, we need to link our roles as leaders, as citizens. So the journey from visionary leadership to practical implementation mirrors the path of citizenship, moving from justice, empathy, global awareness to real-world behaviors, community engagement, ethical decision-making, inclusive leadership. So I wanted to talk more about that, and I always have plan B. If I had time, would talk more about that, but I will add the presentation with all the links to a Google Drive that I will drop in the chat. But after, you can see the whole presentation. I usually prepare more than the time needed, but you can still have a look at it later. And I want to share with you that this is my metaphor or symbol for leadership. I believe in it. I use it in all my workshops, that you always prepare the fertile soil for your team to grow and develop. Anyway, I will drop this again to the drive. Let me drop this to a drive. I will add them later. Today you might find one of the documents that I wanted to work with you, but we don't have time for that. So open the link now, because as the meeting ends, you can't find the link later. All right. So Khalid, it's your turn to
Well, what an engaging and informative session.
questions
And I
and
can see that,
answers. Thank you,
yeah.
Khalid. Thank you.
We started up with 100 and now we're around 300,
300.
292.
Thank you, Khalid.
And yeah, thank you so
By the
much.
way, Khalid, if we have more
Please.
time, I would
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
will spend the whole day talking about this topic.
I see, yes. Talking about leadership. So guys, now if you have any questions, please feel free to share with us. You can drop it in the Q&A section or by raising your virtual hand. We'll take around like four to five participations if time permits, sure. So waiting your questions or comments if you have. Yes, this session is recorded. Very soon it will be uploaded in our channel on YouTube, inshallah. Everyone, thanks Mirna here in the chat. And I've got a question from Muhammad. Just a minute. In the Q&A. Muhammad, I'm not sure if you were able to answer this question before. Is he asking about how can leaders bridge the gap, or let me say break the ice with students from different environments and different cultures to make changes acceptable and attainable possible? So I can see that you can see it in the chat, right, Mina?
I'm trying to see it in the chat because there are many. I'm trying to find. Is mentioned having new blood. What does she mean? Okay, there's a question here. And what about stability institution? May I answer this question, because I can't see the question that you said. What I meant by new blood in us is that I don't mean that new staff replaces old staff. No, I mean that those who are experienced need to train those with zero experience in their institutions. And when they train them, this is what I meant by new blood. And stability and sustainability of the institution is important. I stayed in my institution for 25 years, but doesn't mean that I did not prepare leaders for the future. And this is what I meant in us, is that you need to prepare future leaders in your organization, because it doesn't last to us. It doesn't last to the leaders in the school. There should be a time that comes where leaders need to hand in their mission, their work, and their responsibilities to other leaders. So it's better to prepare those that I call them new blood in your institution and build capacity for those who lived the culture of your school, and rather than bringing someone from outside. So make sure that the new blood is within your school, the new experiences. And thank you, Ines, for asking, because I should have made this clearer. Yes, Khalid, go back to the question.
Yeah, and I see that, and we have an Anwar, sorry, Anwar. We said Anwar at the first. Anwar.
I think your net is lagging. I can't hear you. Anyway, Khalid, I think you're disconnected. No problem. I'll try to read the chats. I can see from down to top, and let me see. And thank you. It's lagging in us. It's not so easy to apply what we are talking about to become successful. On the other hand, there are challenges which sometimes stop you from going on. In us, I can see that this is
I'm sorry.
no, this is
I'm
not
sorry,
in us.
Mirna.
Imad, it's okay. Oh, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm
Khalid.
so sorry.
Yeah, I'm reading some of the
Yeah.
comments. Imad, I know
Okay,
that
go
it's
ahead,
not
please.
easy. Nothing is easy. Life is not easy. So definitely to become a successful leader is not easy. It's a long journey. I've been working 43 years to be here with you today. So it's a long journey. Don't think that it's something that comes easy. But the more you are challenged, the better you are, the better leader you are. Because if you don't work under stress and you don't work within the challenges, please think about what I'm saying and always be positive that you're going to achieve your goals and you will become a successful leader. Thank you for this comment. And Carla mentioned it has truly shifted the way I view leadership. Thank you, Carla. Realizing the difference in personalities and directing them Where did it go? Okay, directing them in a way that suits them and the work. So I am going to stop reading the comment. Coaching, then coaching. I believe in having a coach for every educator institution to every subject. Succession plans are sometimes met with resistance from leaders. Yes, succession plan is something that leaders, especially the existing leaders, are scared from, but there are leaders who are open to train other leaders to take this role and responsibility. Again, I don't call it a position because honestly, for me, it's a responsibility. If you want to
Yes,
sit on the principal chair, it's not a
exactly.
position, it's a responsibility, it's a role on your shoulders. You don't sleep. You keep on thinking about every single thing, every single piece in the organization. Anyway, I think we have to end this. Thank you all for your contribution. So sorry that I couldn't answer all your
Yes,
questions,
Nina.
and it shows on my screen that we have 328 participants. And apologies for that. If I have the whole day, definitely it will be more interactive.
Yeah.
There are many
Mina,
other slides that you can see when I share with you on the drive. Yes.
yes, Mina, we'll take Maha because Maha asked us to participate at the beginning. We weren't
Okay,
able to,
Maha,
let's say,
go ahead.
Yes.
in a minute. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Actually, I would like to thank you very much, Doctor, and also Smirna, for this inspiring workshop. Oh, just I want to add that we're very proud having you as a well-respected leader in Jordan. Thank you, Ms. Mirna.
Thank you. Thank you so
You
much.
always inspire us. Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. You are all leaders and your teams are leaders in their places. Remember that every single person in your organization is a leader in their place. Thank you so much. I hope that we will meet again in the future. I was told that I need to end 5 minutes before the end of the session, which is 9:30.
That's okay, Mina, because just
It's
I
okay
wanted
because you
to
told me
wrap
they
up.
need time to
I just
join.
need to wrap it up. Yeah, just that's the
Okay,
point.
Khalid. Thank you, everyone.
Mina, thank you so much. That was really, really engaging and informative. And
Give me
I'm
1
sure
minute to
that
talk with Miss Mirna. Give me 1 minute, just 1 minute,
yes,
please.
Muhammad. 30
Mahmoud
seconds.
Thank you for your effort, Miss Mirna. Great to see you.
Great to have you here, Mahmoud.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Miss Mirna, you mentioned about the key challenges, specific communication breakdown. I think this is the solution for this point. Give and receive meaningful feedback with the leadership. Okay, sometimes يعني, some employee complain about the lack of communication with the principal or with the boss. Please focus on this point another session if you give me a good opportunity. Thank you for giving me this
Inshallah, Mahmoud.
opportunity to talk
Inshallah.
with me. Thank you, Miss
Thank
Mirna.
you.
I miss you.
Thank you, Mahmoud.
Thank you. Thank you,
Miss you
Mahmoud.
more.
You already talked, Samah already participated, right?
Yes.
Samah, but please, 20 seconds for the sake of time.
I'll
30
make
seconds.
it short. First, I'd like to thank Myrna. It's always a pleasure to see you, Miss Myrna. Can you hear me
Thank
now?
you so much, Samah. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you for the session. It's like a stop station for us to reflect on our practices. One thing that I would like to comment on, I agree with everything that you've said, and it makes us really reflect on what we are doing now and to pause. It's sometimes the same thing that we say to the student that we need to identify their learning styles, we need to do it with our team as well. And this is when I started to distribute tasks according to their talents and strengths. And instead of just looking at the task as task to be completed, is how can I make a team or small teams to finish certain tasks within their own talents, and that make a huge success and more effective. So we just focus more likely, the leaders, we focus on our students, their individual learning styles, how they learn, how they like to, we differentiate, but we do not usually do this with our teams and staff. So maybe if we start doing this more often, I think it will be more successful implementation.
Yeah. Thank you,
Sure.
Samah.
Sure.
To say I need to wrap up this with
Yeah.
one statement, and what Samah mentioned made me share this screen. It's very important to read it, guys, because what we are doing in schools, in universities, in education institutions is the learning. And yesterday, this was on one of the screens in one of the sessions in The Hague here in the conference, that students are asking, what am I learning this for? You are telling me my future is in danger, but you're also telling me I need to be successful within this model that is destroying my future. So
Exactly.
what Samah mentioned is essential and is related to this. Make sure that learning makes sense to our students. And I just wanted this as addition to what Samah mentioned. Thank you all. Khalid, do you have anything to say?
Thank you.
Because I think we need to end.
Yeah.
This is what I promised, to end 5 minutes before.
Yes, because now we have the other time slot for other sessions at the QRTA Forum 2025. And Mirna, you've nailed it. And as always, and
Thank
the
you so much.
participants, we've got around 388, around
Yeah.
400 participants in this session. And I think they've really enjoyed it. I'd like to thank every one of you for your participation. And as we conclude this inspiring session at the Queen Rana Teacher Academy Forum 2025, we extend our heartfelt appreciation to all participants for your active engagement and insightful contributions. And we hope this experience has enriched your perspective and equipped you with ideas and tools to foster value-based education in your schools and communities. Would you receive your certificate of attendance via email, inshallah, soon, maybe within 2 days? And we kindly encourage you to complete the feedback survey that will be sent to you via email to help us enhance future events. Thank you for being part of this forum, and we're looking forward to welcoming you again at upcoming QRTA events. Have a splendid day and see
And
you all
remember,
soon.
Khalid, and everyone remember to lead with love and passion. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you. Thank you, Khalid.
Thank you. Thank you.